This story shows us that a deadly virus has spread, turning everyone in the world into zombies. But these aren't your typical zombies. They're so fast they can even catch a running airplane. Some are smart enough to outthink humans, and others can sniff out their targets from miles away. In this dangerous world, only 2 people are left alive. Will they survive? Find out in today's video. At first, we see a boy sitting in his room watching cartoons on TV, when suddenly the signal cuts out and an emergency alert starts flashing on the screen. The news wipes the smile off his face. The TV reports that a deadly virus has spread all over the world, turning infected people into terrifying zombie-like creatures within minutes. The virus spread super fast, and the whole world is already caught in its grip. The broadcast urges everyone watching to quickly find a safe place to stay. The boy is watching all this when suddenly a strange noise comes from the room upstairs. Hearing the noise, the boy's breath catches in his throat. He slowly goes upstairs to check and finds out it was just his older sister playing a prank. After that, the 2 boys head towards their mom's room and see that she's really upset. She calls her husband to tell him about the situation. Her husband, who's a pilot, tells his wife and kids that the virus is spreading rapidly everywhere. So, don't wait for me at home. Just get out of this city somehow, as fast as you can. He tells his kids not to worry. Nothing's gonna happen to you. Your mom will take you to a safe place. He shows his kids the lucky bracelet he's wearing, which his daughter Abigail made. Seeing that, Abigail gets really happy. Meanwhile, their mom is quickly packing their stuff. Suddenly, they start hearing shouting from outside. So, she hurriedly grabs both her kids. She steps out of the house. Just as they're about to get into the car, suddenly a zombie attacks the kid's mom. Scared out of her mind, Abigail quickly hides under the car and watches helplessly as her little brother and mom are killed by the zombie right in front of her eyes. The zombie doesn't notice the little girl and leaves. The little girl is shaking with fear when she suddenly sees that her mom has turned into a zombie too. Her mom sees her and starts moving toward her. Before she can harm her daughter, just then an uncle shows up like an angel, kills Abigail's mom, and saves Abigail. A little later, they see Abigail's little brother turning into a zombie too. So the guy tells the girl to cover her ears and then shoots her zombified little brother. After that, the scene jumps 10 years ahead, and we see that the zombie virus has completely destroyed human civilization. Cities that used to shine with lights are now deserted, and by now, almost all humans are either dead or wandering around like zombies, and only 2 people are still alive. That little girl, Abigail, whom Uncle saved, has now grown up. Since that day, Abigail has been like family to Uncle Jack, and he trained her to fight zombies. If Jack hadn't come into her life back then, Abigail would have been dead by now. That's why she sees Jack as her father. After all these years alone in the forest, Abigail feels really lonely. Her biggest wish is to find a human settlement. He wanted to find a place where he could live with people, but Jack really didn't like being around others. One night, when they were both camping in the woods, Jack woke up to a noise. He quietly stepped out of his camp to check, and just then a zombie attacked him. Jack kept firing his gun and managed to kill it, and eagles showed up right then too. After spending the last 10 years hunting zombies in the forest, these 2 had enough experience to know that zombies usually hang out in packs. They understood that immediately. They figured there were definitely more zombies nearby. So they quickly started getting ready to leave and hopped onto their horse. Just then, their horse started neighing. Jack realized danger was close. They looked around and saw a jeep fallen over in the distance, surrounded by zombies. There was a normal person trying to fend off the zombies. By now, very few humans were left in the world. So, no matter what, these 2 had to save that guy from the zombies. Jack also wanted to test Abigail's aim. That's why he says that you should save this guy to see if he's fully trained or not. Jack tells her to calmly aim at the target and then shoot, but Abigail shoots in a hurry. The bullet hits not only the zombie, but also the survivor. Seeing this, Jack gets really mad at Abigail. Then they both go over to the guy. They see there's no way he can be saved now. So Jack kills him himself, just in case the zombie bit him, and he comes back to life as a threat to them. No way. After that, the 2 of them start grabbing all the stuff they need from the dead guy's car. Jack takes the dead guy's shoes, and as soon as he puts them on, the dead guy's friends show up. Tons of armed men surround them. One of the guys notices Jack wearing the dead guy's shoes and starts suspecting that they killed their buddy to steal his stuff. Just as these guys are about to attack them, a pregnant woman gets out of the car and tells her friends to let them go. She says so. Just then, the black horse warns them again, and right after that, loud noises start coming from the distant forest. A huge swarm of zombies rushes toward them from all sides like a storm. They come so fast that the group doesn't even get a chance to run. So they pull out their weapons and fight right there. Everyone had weapons, but the zombies were way too many. One by one, the zombies bite a lot of people in the group. The ones left have nowhere to hide, and soon, only a very few survive. A strong man unfortunately gets bitten by a zombie, so he tries to shoot himself, but his gun runs out of bullets. Now they realize they can't fight the zombies, so Abigail helps the pregnant lady into the car. The pregnant lady's husband is also in the car, and Jack starts the car and quickly drives away. Only these 4 people are left in the whole group. Everyone else has already been taken down by the zombies. A zombie with a dark face signals to his mates that someone is dead. He gets really pissed off when he sees what's happening. Meanwhile, the 4 of them manage to escape the zombies and are traveling in the car. On the way, Jack asks the lady sitting behind, "Who are you, and what were you doing here?" When she explains, it turns out these survivors were trying to reach a place called Shiptown, where safe people live. That place has all the facilities they need, and they all want to live a normal life there. Hearing this, Abigail gets really happy because that's exactly the place she's always wanted to go. Then Jack says, "But here, no one. There's no such colony or anything like that. I've been wandering around here and there for the past 10 years. I haven't seen any colony like that." Then suddenly, their car breaks down in the middle of the road. During this, the pregnant lady's husband, named David, comes out. He tells them that he's a mechanic and can fix it, but since they don't have the right tools, the car can't be repaired. So, they leave the car there and start walking. After walking several kilometers, they reach an abandoned society. There are still tall buildings here. They're standing there, but there's an eerie silence of death all around. These people make sure to thoroughly check the place first. When they don't sense any danger, they decide to spend the night there. At night, they light a fire and cook their food. Abigail was really eager to go to that place called Shiptown. She starts talking to a pregnant woman about it. The pregnant woman tells her that they've already made radio contact with the people living in Shiptown. It's a really beautiful place where they live freely. They can stay here. Hearing this, Abigail's eyes lit up. Meanwhile, Jack went outside and set up traps all around so that even if they fell asleep, they'd immediately know if danger was near. Jack came back inside, pulled out a map, and explained to everyone that he would escort Megan and David part of the way, and then they'd split off onto different routes. But Abigail wasn't happy with Jack's plan. She went up to him and argued that David wouldn't be able to safely get his pregnant wife all the way there, so they should go with them. Jack said, "We need to be smart about this. You should be careful. Look, the more people there are, the greater the danger." But Abigail gets upset with Jack's decision and walks away. Neither of them knows that the zombie with the black face has already sniffed out their car and reached there. The next morning, Abigail is sitting on the roof looking at a photo from her childhood when suddenly she hears rustling from the trees below. She realizes the zombies have gotten inside and runs down to warn everyone, but then a zombie starts chasing her. Abigail. She starts climbing the stairs, trying to save herself, and shakes off the zombie chasing her, making it fall down. But in the process, she loses her balance and is about to fall too. Just then, Jack shows up in time and saves her. A little later, the black-faced zombie arrives there with his gang because he finds out where their buddy died, but they end up getting caught in a trap set earlier, killing a bunch of zombies. Hearing the explosion, Jack realizes the zombie horde has reached that spot. "We were staying at a place last night, and zombies were still chasing them. The good thing was that they had left that spot and moved ahead." Then Abigail remembered that a little ahead there's a small airport where her father used to work. Maybe some planes are still there, so we could easily get to Shiptown. But Jack said if we go to the airport, it's an open area, and if zombies surround us there, we won't have any way to save ourselves. And it's unlikely we'll even find a plane there. He was reluctant to go, but after Abigail kept insisting, he finally agreed. So they all headed to the airport. But there wasn't a single plane in sight. Jack said, "See, I told you there wouldn't be any planes here." Then when they reached a small garage, they opened the door and, to their surprise, found a small airplane inside. They were really happy because now getting to Shiptown would be a lot easier. However, the plane hadn't been used for a long time, so the mechanic, David, says it just needs a quick fix. Nothing major. "I'll have it fixed in 10 to 15 minutes. While David works on the airplane, Jack and Abigail start looking around the airport for anything useful. Then David spots a bunch of zombies coming their way through his binoculars. They're gonna reach the plane pretty soon. He runs over and warns them they need to start the plane fast, or the zombies will get there and kill them. Abigail quickly jumps into the pilot's seat. She reads the book she has. Her dad was a pilot, so she learned a bit about flying from him. Jack tries to stop the zombies by shooting them. Abigail somehow manages to start the airplane, but by then it's already too late. A bunch of zombies reach the runway. They're pretty fast, and one even gets all the way to the airplane door. Jack shoots that zombie and frees the plane, and Abigail figures out how to control it. That's how they managed to take off. Everyone on the plane was really happy because they were about to reach Shipan directly. But that happiness didn't last long. As they moved a little further, suddenly smoke started coming out of the plane's engine because it hadn't flown for the last 10 years. That's why the engine blasted and the plane began to go down. Using his quick thinking, Jack crash-landed the plane into a tree. They got a few injuries, but their lives were saved. The plane was now completely unusable, so now they have to travel on foot again. After walking a long way, they finally reach an abandoned railway station. It's already night, so they check around for any danger. When they don't see any zombies nearby, they decide to spend the night there. They look at their location on the map and realize they're just 2 days away from Shiptown. Then the pregnant lady comes over to Jack and thanks her, saying that if it weren't for Jack, they would never have made it this far. Got it. Hearing this, Jack started feeling sorry for Megan too. He shared his story with her. That about 10 years ago, when the zombie virus first broke out, he had to kill his own wife because she was turning into a zombie and trying to bite him. Since then, a part of his humanity died inside him. Now, the only person he has left in this world is Abigail, and he'll do whatever it takes to keep her alive. Jack also tells Megan that his priorities have changed. He's going to get her safely to Shiptown first. Hearing this, Megan feels really happy. On the other hand, we see David, Megan's husband, putting a gun to his head trying to kill himself. Actually, a zombie had bitten his leg, but David hadn't turned into a zombie yet because the wound was pretty small. That's why the infection was progressing really slowly. So, he decided to get his wife Meg safely to this Shiptown and then distance himself from her. The next morning, the four of them continue their journey. On the way, Jack starts noticing David acting kinda weird. Jack realizes that David is infected, so he grabs him and takes him to an empty spot where his wife and Abigail can't see. He lifts David's shirt and sees the bite mark from a zombie. Now Jack was sure that David was about to turn into a zombie soon. Jack asks him, "Tell me, would you rather die by your own hand or should I do it?" David says, "I won't hurt anyone, and if it comes to that, I'll kill myself." So Jack lets David go. As they keep walking, night falls and they spot a house ahead. Jack readies his gun. He takes a deep breath and starts moving forward. Suddenly, a bright light flashes and a voice comes through a speaker telling them to put their weapons down or they'll be riddled with bullets. That's when they realize there's someone inside. Abigail steps forward and says their intention isn't to hurt anyone. They just need help. Then the owner of the house comes outside and says they'll be given plenty of food and a place to stay for the night. But on one condition, everyone has to leave their guns outside. When they leave their weapons outside, the man takes them inside the house. He welcomes everyone warmly and tells them he's a scientist. He lives there alone. If he wanted, he could leave any time. But places like this make his research easier. He serves them really good food, which surprises them because they haven't had such good food in a long time. They all dig in eagerly. After the meal, the scientist even brings drinks for them all. They were happy because after so many days, everyone finally got a chance to sit down and chat peacefully. But as they listened to the scientist, something felt off. The scientist said, "Look, this virus that's spreading is definitely a bad thing. But on the flip side, humans are also evolving because of it. Like the weak ones will disappear, and the strong ones will survive as zombies. Zombies live just to eat, not to progress. That's why zombies should rule the world." Hearing this, the four of them started feeling really uneasy. Just then, David starts feeling worse and heads to the bathroom. When he looks in the mirror, he sees that the virus has completely taken over his body. When he comes back to the hall, he finds Jack and the others passed out. Turns out, the scientist had slipped a knockout drug into the alcohol. Seeing this, David attacks the scientist, but the scientist presses a button on a device he's holding. Suddenly, David feels extremely weak and collapses. The scientist says, "I made this device. After years of hard work, he created a device that lets me go anywhere in the world. And with this device, zombies can't mess with me at all. The scientist had made a device that could control zombies. Basically, now he's going to be the king of the whole world, making everyone dance to his tune. After that, David passes out, and when he wakes up, he sees that he and his friends are tied up, and the scientist is about to experiment on the 4 of them. After doing all this, the scientist says, "So, do you guys want to meet my wife?" After that, we check out the scientist's wife, who was a zombie. The scientist had locked her up in a cage and used to catch people to feed her. This device was also made by the scientist after experimenting on his wife. When the scientist opens the cage door, his wife attacks him first, but the scientist controls her and sends her after the other 4. She attacks Jack, but he kicks her back. Just then, David uses the virus's power to break the rope, and he also frees the rest of his friends. The homeowner senses danger and runs away immediately. After that, the 4 quickly grab their stuff and rush outside. Lucky and the others find the scientist's car outside, and the 4 of them get in and head toward the jungle. But the scientist wasn't ready to give up. Using his device, he controls the horde of zombies and sends them after them. Jack speeds up the car, leaving the zombies far behind, but the road ahead is blocked. Now they have no choice but to go on foot, just a little further. After walking for a while, the zombies catch up to them again. David realizes he doesn't have much time left. Soon, he's going to turn into a zombie himself. So, he tells the others to keep moving ahead while he stays behind to hold the zombies off. But his wife doesn't want to let him go. That's when David tells her she needs to stay alive for their child, and that he's doing all this for their baby. Then David fights the zombies, bravely facing them head on. For a long time, he keeps holding them back. He takes him, and his friends move far away from the zombies. But then, a zombie comes and kills David. Jack carries Megan in his arms and moves forward, and finally, they reach the place where the humans live. Abigail starts shouting for help because there were a lot of zombies behind them. 2 guards sitting in the tower spot them and start shooting the zombies with sniper rifles to cover them. Soon, a boat is sent for them, and the 3 of them get on the boat and head into Town. They arrive. The black-faced zombie stops his buddies from moving forward because there's water ahead, and they can't cross it. Meanwhile, Megan is about to give birth and needs medical help right away. The good thing is there's a doctor and hospital facilities here. The next morning, we see that this place has been connected to several big ships, creating a town surrounded by water. Jack tells Abigail that it's time to leave, but Abigail decides to stay. She really prefers living among the people here. Having a great time, they argue a lot about this. Then a doctor comes in and says that Megan has given birth to a daughter, but because of heavy bleeding, she might not survive long. Hearing this, Jack feels really down. He rushes to the hospital room. Megan is very weak and wants to leave her daughter in Jack's care, hoping she grows up just like Abigail. Jack remembers his late wife and agrees to take care of Megan's daughter. Meanwhile, Abigail is with a handsome guy. She's having a great time hanging out with everyone. She never imagined so many people could sit together, drink, and dance their hearts out to beautiful music. That's why she's even more determined to stay right there. After a while, Abigail quietly spots that handsome guy sneaking into a cabin. Seeing him, she slips in too. Once inside, she notices the cabin is packed with wires and bombs. There's even a wireless switch hanging there. Just as she reaches out to touch the switch, the guy rushes in and starts warning her. They planted bombs under Town. If that place ever gets in danger, people will run away through that route, and from outside, they'll blow the place up. But neither of them had any idea that day would come so soon. The scientist, furious, even makes it there. He sees that these guys have killed a bunch of zombies, the very ones he wanted to use to take over the world. Using his control device, he takes control of that black-faced zombie king. With the scientist's help, Town, the water below could no longer save them. A bunch of zombies come up from underwater onto the ships and suddenly attack the people, killing many of them. Panic breaks out among everyone. Meanwhile, Jack finds out about the zombie attack. Worried about Abigail, he starts searching for her. As he fights off zombies and moves forward, he finally finds Abigail. On the other side, Sun's scientist also gets onto the ship and punches Abigail, knocking her down. Seeing this, Jack got mad and started running towards the scientist, but just then, a zombie came out of nowhere, shoved him, and threw him into the tank below. The scientist showed up there too and wanted to get back at Jack. He kicked Jack down, But Jack knew fighting the scientist was pointless, so he attacked the scientist and smashed the device in his hand against the wall. Now the scientist no longer had the power to control the zombies. Soon after, the old scientist became a victim of the zombies. The good thing was that in this camp, the escape route was already planned. A lot of the survivors make it through the tunnel to the other side of the river. Just as they're about to set off the bomb, the handsome guy doesn't press the button because Abigail is still on the ship. Now Jack and Abigail start running outside, but from behind, the zombie king grabs Abigail. Right then, Jack quickly hits the zombie on the head with a piece of wood, knocking him down. Suddenly, Abigail's eyes catch the bracelet tied to the zombie king's hand. It's the same bracelet she had. As a kid, she made it with her own hands for her dad. She understands that this zombie is actually her father, but now, he's not a human anymore. He's turned into a zombie. Here, Jack grabs her hand and forcefully tells her to run away. The handsome guy, seeing both of them running, immediately presses a button on his wireless remote, and the whole ship town turns to ashes. But their fight wasn't over yet. The camp leader comes holding his neck because a zombie bit him during the fight. Before the virus could spread, the black-faced zombie attacked him. They attacked. The surprising thing was that the zombie king survived the blast. Jack immediately ran over and started fighting the zombie king. But Jack was getting weaker against him, so Abigail picked up a gun from the ground. Even though she knew the zombie king standing in front of her was her father, but he was trying to kill Jack, who raised him, so without thinking twice, Abigail shot the zombie king with the blackened face, because if she hadn't shot him, the zombie king would have killed everyone there. After that, Jack and Abigail hugs Jack, and now Jack, Abigail, and the rest of the group look out over the distant ocean toward a quiet bay. They decide to settle down and start a new human community there. And with that, the story comes to an end. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and give the video a like.